Where the hell are we? That's the question you might ask yourself. Where are we, Christian?
We are in the Jimi Hendrix Suite.
The Jimi Hendrix Suite of the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Why are we here, Chris?
Because we are at Zendcon, the 11th US Zendcon.
First at Vegas, though.
First one in Vegas.
So we're at a PHP conference and we speak here. That's why we got invited.
Absolutely.
Christian from Germany, I'm from Belgium. We were fortunate to be flown in here.
Oh, absolutely. And we've had a great week so far.
We had an excellent week so far,
Fantastic.
which we will touch on.
Oh,
you will love it. We'll talk Vegas, we'll talk community, but first I'll let the man introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Christian Wenz. I do web stuff. So I started in the web quite early on. And since then have helped a lot of companies with anything web related. I'm a co-owner of a Munich-based web agency, Arabiata Solutions, and do also a lot of consulting for companies of various sizes.
Cool. In my book, you're a man of two worlds, and that's not that common. And it's a great advantage, and I'll explain to our audience. Christian is both active or a long-time community member in the PHP world, but he is also a ASP.NET MVP, so he has one foot in the Microsoft community as well. Now, a lot of people would find that to be weird. I don't, because the hosting company I work at does both Windows and Linux stuff, and as a technical evangelist, I'm in touch with the .NET community as well. And it is safe to say these guys are as awesome as the PHP community.
You were speaking at a Microsoft conference last year?
I did once, but I don't think they selected me again, because then again, these guys wanted to do a community conference, a good one, and they run a good show, but the majority of people does not care about the Linux technology. Their audience is primarily a Windows, Microsoft audience, and I had good feedback, but not that much people. Okay, so yeah, here we are at Zendcon. How has your Zendcon been so far?
Oh, pretty interesting. You know, Zend, the company behind Zendcon, merged with another company.
Yeah, that was a big
news. That was kind of surprising, and they touched on it in the opening keynote.
But they didn't tell us
no details. So that's, yeah, I'm curious to see how that will turn out. Also, the timing of the conferences is pretty good because it's only 2.5 weeks before PHP 7 will probably come out.
Probably. We'll see about that.
I'm very confident. Seriously, I'm very confident. Most of the deadlines have been met so far. We had a number of release candidates. I think it will come out in time. And the number of open bugs is, I think, manageable. Yeah. So I'm pretty confident.
I was actually expecting to be a better alignment and actually have a solid release of PHP 7 here at Zendcon. But then again, it's only a couple of weeks.
And it's open source, right? So
yes.
Zen cannot just say, let's publish it today.
When it's done.
It's done when it's done.
When it's done. And I'm really looking forward to PHP 7. They market it primarily as being a performance release.
Yes.
But they have, and that's why it's a major release, it's 7, is because there are also some feature changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the old stuff got cut or gets cut, stuff that has been deprecated or disencouraged to use since years, actually. Yeah. And of course, people have historically been always very hesitant to update to a new version of PHP. I recently read a statistic that the adoption rate of PHP 5.6 is, don't quote me with the numbers, but maybe 10% or something. So it has been really, really, really bad. I mean, you are closer to the business than I am.
I see it, but the reality of things is that a lot of people don't really care about the actual PHP version they have. Some do. Like more recent developments, you see that new WordPress, new Drupal, new Magento installations can handle 5.5, 5.6, so much, and it all depends on two factors. A, what does your distribution have of your operating system? Because in a lot of cases, you'll depend on what Ubuntu or CentOS or Debian does. Ones are more progressive, the other ones are more conservative. So you'll end up with whatever you're getting from them. And on the other hand, the release cycles have been quicker these days.
Oh, absolutely.
So from 5.3 to 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, it goes quicker. And people don't want to be investing their time in upgrading PHP.
I fully understand that.
So those, in my book, are reasons for maybe somewhat slower adoption rate. Then again, from a hoster's perspective, those days where people could say, oh, but my hoster doesn't support that new version, those days are long gone. Because if you cannot offer the latest version, you're no longer relevant with this business.
And you do not get security patches?
No. So that's why we have 5.5 by default, 5.6 as an option, and then a bunch of older versions for people who have really old and crappy software. But in my book, it will be my personal goal, the moment, the day that PHP 7 drops, to have it available. But that's another battle. I need to talk to Mark.
Yes, of course.
And then make sure that 5.6 is the standard version. So in terms of PHP, very interesting times ahead.
Yeah, I mean there's been some kind of hubbub on Twitter about the performance statistics provided in the keynote.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, even if whatever, you can read other in another way into those statistics. Still, the performance gain is measurable.
Absolutely,
it's really promising.
And it's good that there's a bit of competition between HHVM's camp and then the core camp.
The thing is, I mean, most users, developers, they don't care about HVVM or P7 or whatever flavor it is. If it's running fast and doesn't use much resources, stuff like that, that's what they want. So that's what they use.
And that's what I like. And in the meanwhile, you can probably hear noises. We are close to the airport, to McCarran Airport, so every now and then.
Everything is close in the airport, to the airport in Vegas, but everything is still very far apart. So it's a walking city. But
yes. So we've been talking PHP now for a couple of minutes. Let's switch it up and tell us a bit about what's happening in the other world where you have footed.
Yeah, in the ASP.NET world. I mean, the reason why I'm active in both worlds is it's a historic reason. I started doing the web 95. 96, very early on, and I think I started doing Perl on the server side as the first thing. But I mean, better people than I, and they can be very happy with Perl. But I was looking for an alternative, and I did find an alternative, and that was Classic ASP.
Yeah,
in 1996.
I learned Classic ASP back in college in 2001, 2002. Those days.
I still say that Classic ASP is the last technology which I knew 100% in and out, because it was, I think, 36 methods and properties I had to remember, and that's everything, and every bad memory.
Query string.
Yeah, stuff like that. By the way, that still exists in a way in ASP.NET, but yeah, that's what I knew everything. Now I'm depending on an IDE. I mean,
I have to type adopt and see what happens.
Exactly. Same with PHP as well. I mean, I know hundreds of PHP functions and classes and stuff. But, that's just skimming the surface. Yeah, but anyway, so I was doing ASP, and I did some pretty nice stuff with that. But I still found it limited, and Microsoft at one point stopped developing ASP further.
Yeah.
And so then I found out about PHP in 98, 99 probably. And PHP and ASP, they were first released in the same year. So the same age, and then I switched a little bit over to PHP because there was development in PHP, and in the first few months I was doing that as a primarily Windows user. I still remember there was one version of PHP 3 where I had to hand compile the Windows version because it was released. Because the one guy who could do it just didn't have the time or something. Yeah, but then I was very happy with PHP, and so PHP 3 and PHP 4, and then 2001, Microsoft launched .NET and ASP.NET, which kind of looked interesting, but
I remember those days.
Worked very well on IE and not on the other browsers. So I ditched it, but then in 2005, ASP.NET 2 came out, and that worked everywhere, and it was a very solid technology, and so I've been following that along. Then ASP.MVC eventually was released as an MVC framework. And I mean, it's good to have a de facto standard. It really is. It kind of helps because...
I can't imagine using C# or Visual Basic without the .NET framework these days.
Well, you can't. In this C# you can't. Visual Basic, there's the .NET version of it.
It comes with it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and so I'm kind of doing both things. And I mean, both are more or less feature complete now. Let's say like this. There are always, new features you might think of adding in, but still, both are kind of feature complete. So now it's all about the ecosystem, the tooling, integration with whatever.
I've been
cloud
seeing
services,
lots of nice things these days. Like, I was actually surprised when I went to the Microsoft event. It was actually Tekorama was the name of the event in Mechelen. Shout out to the guys organizing it.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, guys.
Hey. What I particularly liked is that they have the term for it, ALM, Application Lifecycle Management, and they do the continuous integration, the continuous delivery, and all that stuff that happens there as well. So I was pleasantly surprised that it's not just an open source thing.
And I mean, for me, I do web stuff, so the server needs to do something, but in more and more applications, the technology in the server is more and more irrelevant because, well, the server just, is an API and gives us data. So I need a REST framework, maybe like Agility in the PHP space or Web API in ASP.NET. Well, and then I have the client and client-side logic. That's it. And so for me, it's a fascinating time because I see all of these frameworks coming, some of them going. I see the advancements on the server side, but still, it's the web. And PHP and ASP.NET are the two market leaders. Of course, PHP with a large margin. Yeah, but exciting times since 20 years, and I'm looking forward to the next years.
Which one do you prefer? Like when you have to go on a project for a client, does it depend mostly on the integrations the client will do, or do you have a preference? Like if you have a green field, as they call it, approach, what do you pick?
Greenfields, in my opinion, there's never a really greenfield because there's always a kind of a dependency, a specific database that needs to be used, or specific knowledge that the customer has, or the one who's doing hosting has. But I think a few rule of thumbs are if there is a CMS to be involved, then we always do PHP. Yeah. Because, at least my personal opinion, the CMS system is there so much better. If you have a classical forms over data application, which you have in a lot of enterprises, and whatever, you have limited budget, limited time, then one of the specific ASP.NET flavors, the so-called web forms flavor, comes in handy in many scenarios. Well, not all scenarios, and there are downsides to that as well, but yeah, so this is the thing. With regards to MVC frameworks, that's a very, very personal question, I would say, because everyone has their preferences. Yeah, it's about my personal preference is, in that case, I like the ASP.NET MVC framework. I think it's really well done, excellent integration in the IDE. So that works very well. But the MVC frameworks in the PHP space, I mean, they're also all very, very good, right? Like so this is really always a personal preference. So everyone has their own. So yeah, but these are kind of my rules of thumb. Apart from that, I'm a bit driven, of course, by what the customer wants and other factors as well. Whatever, do I need to recycle the application in some way, whatever, in a native app or whatever. Yeah. So there are a lot of factors. So you know one of my favorite sayings, right? I've told you that before. So if you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And I think that's the problem that you encounter so often. And so I say, no, I don't have a hammer. I have a lot of hammers.
Okay, Christian, let's talk Vegas for a minute.
Oh, yes.
You have been my source of inspiration when it comes to Vegas. This is not your first rodeo, right? This is not your first time in Vegas.
I've been here before a couple of times. A lot of conferences are in Vegas.
Yeah.
And if there's another conference, well, I have to be on vacation. No, I love Vegas. I fully understand if someone hates Vegas. I absolutely do.
I have times where I hate Vegas as well, and then have times where I
couldn't live here. I personally couldn't live here from what I've seen and what I know, but for a few days, just great fun. Because I love good food, and there's an abundance of good food.
There's so much good food here, like high quality food.
Yeah, absolutely. And also low quality food. So you have to go the way around, and the shows. I mean, I go at any concert I see whenever I'm traveling somewhere, I just go, okay, is there a concert nearby? But there are a lot of good shows, which, I mean, usually I hate this for instance, bands I really love. But so the attention time span is pretty low supposedly. So the shows here are only like 60 minutes, 90 minutes, which is perfectly okay because
a 2-hour show would be for headlining band.
Yeah, there was some. But apart from the regular show, is set time frame.
Another cool thing about Vegas is the fact that we have a pool table right here. I'm posing here with a cube. We're not actually playing pool, but it's just a good shot, right? You were upgraded to tell the story.
Yeah, I arrived very late because my flight was delayed, and I arrived at the hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I don't know, everything was a blur at that point of time, right? But I probably have looked very miserable. And since I arrived so late, then they already knew which of the rooms they didn't sell. So I said, oh, by the way, we upgraded you to a suite. Now everything is a suite, right?
Yeah.
Until I saw the double doors, and then here
pool table,
the bar,
bar setup.
It's insane. I mean, I spend about 6 hours a day in this room, right? So I don't even use this at all. I mean, I was playing pool for 5 minutes last night just because it's there, and I didn't want to leave without doing it. And I hate playing pool. But still, I mean, that's obscene, and I mean, there's so many good hotels, and I mean,
yeah, let's talk about those hotels, right? Because to have a good Vegas experience, you need the hotel is key.
Yeah.
And criteria in my book are style and location.
Absolutely,
So
I fully agree with
tell us something about that, about your personal experiences and your preferences.
I mean, you know, I'm a mainstream kind of guy, right? So I want a hotel at the Strip. Downtown is nice, and of course there's nice things which you can experience.
Disclaimer, this hotel is not on the Strip.
This is not on the Strip. It is extremely close to the airport, so it's like a $10 cab ride, whereas most Strip hotels are more like $20-ish plus. So it's not that close. So I like to have a hotel on the Strip, and rather center, because that's, you know, where the action is and where you can walk.
So center Strip, is that then Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, Mirage?
Something like that. I would even say that the MGM is still part of a rather central Strip for me, because, you know, the Strip goes down to Mandalay Bay. Mandalay, I like the hotel there, I like restaurants there. I've stayed there really a couple of times for conferences. Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, it takes you a while to get to where the action is, unless you're staying in your hotel. But you could stay in your hotel because there's so much to do, but since you have so many options, you just tend to pick the best.
And what I always do, and I know you do it as well, let's say you arrive on a Sunday evening. Rates are affordable in Vegas on a Sunday evening. What I do is I look on deal sites like either Hotwire or Priceline, and these are bidding sites. So what you do is you give it a couple of criteria, and then it gives you a price. Yeah. But it doesn't tell you which hotel you're at.
Exactly, and you can't cancel it if you're not happy.
No. So you pay, and then they tell you. Yeah. But then there's these forums called Better Bidding, and then you kind of guess where you're at.
That could be, yeah.
And the thing I'm always aiming at is the Vidara.
Yeah, I like the Vidara. It's still, I mean, it kind of stands the Strip, but it's still very far to walk to the Strip.
Yes, I noticed
back a little bit, right?
This is my it's the second trip I'm using the Vidara. It's so awesome. What makes it so awesome? It's modern. It's brand new. It's a 5-star hotel. It's suites only. It does not have casino, and you can get really good rates on it if you're lucky. Because these suites, rack rate, expensive, I guess.
Yeah, really.
But we're not paying.
They don't even put that on the website.
No.
So really nice. So one of my favorite hotels is the Signature at the MGM. So the MGM, right? Rather southly in the Strip.
South of Strip, yeah.
And I mean, it's a fine hotel, everything, but they have the 3 towers set back. No casino there. Really nice rooms.
Yeah, you told me a lot about that. And you have different hotels in that compound. And I even heard that there's a separate space that regular folks like us can't see.
Okay.
Very well
possible.
Where the high rollers come in. So.
Yeah, I've once been in one of the suites with one of the conference organizers years back, and I mean, really, this is
ridiculous. And you have a lot of fantasy suites here. Like the Suite Barrette is a pretty regular one. I remember at the Palms, you have a suite where you have a pool in your suite, but the pool comes out of the hotel, of course, with all the safety measures at hand. The Hugh Hefner Sky Villa, and you even have suites with bowling lanes, basketball courts.
I mean, it's insane, and it's probably not worth the money. No. It just ain't. But I mean, this is Vegas, right?
Yeah. Another thing you put me onto, and this is my 4th trip to Vegas, and it's the first time I do it. I went to see shows based on your recommendations.
Yeah, unfortunately there weren't that many good concerts on this week. I mean, you're probably gonna see a concert later this week when
maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Maybe.
Korn's coming to town. They're playing the House of Blues in the Mandalay Bay on Friday night. Might want to go, but although Vegas is in a bit of a crisis, somewhat due to the credit crunch, of course. The price of the tickets is still quite high, I believe.
That's what they make the money with. I think they make less money with gambling. One of the campers told me that. So they make less money with gambling, but they make a lot of money with shows and hotels. Yeah. But no, I mean, what you probably need to see in Vegas definitely is a Cirque du Soleil show.
And you have lots of those.
Kind of things. Yeah, they have 8 of them or
8
something.
Or 9.
Yeah,
if you go to the Cirque du Soleil website, you'll see that a lot of their stuff is in Vegas.
And there are many of them, and I mean, the best acts, they also swap them between shows. So there was a new one opening at the Vidara, I believe, the Sarkana. And I saw that when the week it opened, because I happened to be there, and they had one of the best acts from one of the other shows that I've seen before. So they really tried to make it as good as possible. And we went to see Love by the Beatles.
Yeah, you were in love with me, right?
Exactly. That was fun.
That was the pun, right? We were at a Beatles edition of Cirque du Soleil, so it was music combined with acrobatics. Nicely aligned, it was a brilliant show. It was called Love, it was in the Mirage, and it featured Beatles songs and the history of the Beatles. And it was amazing.
It was a custom-built theater, so all the special effects were really tailored for that. They didn't have to do any compromises.
I thought that the stage looked kind of small, but then if you looked at what they could do with it, stunning. What did we do yesterday?
Oh, we went to my favorite magician's Panda Teller.
Yeah.
I really love them because, they don't claim they have kind of superpowers.
No.
They are funny. And I mean,
they're harsh as well.
They are very harsh. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah,
amazing.
We had a great time. And I mean, they are on top of the game. I mean, they are so fast. The choreography is so elaborate. It's really everything fits together. And yeah, I think it's the probably fourth time or so I've seen them.
And it's 20 years of them in Vegas and 15 years at that very. So it's happening at the Rio. They have their own theater called the Teller and Penn Theater.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it there for 15 years. It was good.
It's the top of the game, and really, they seem to be really kind of down to earth. They stand in the lobby after the show. Everyone gets their photo. They don't go until everyone got their photo. Who else is doing that
after such a long time?
Yeah,
it's hard to imagine. It was nearly a full house, right? Because our seats weren't that great. We were sitting a bit more in the back. We had a good view, but that was what was that? Tuesday night?
Yeah.
That was solid. So yeah, there's so much things to do. I think tonight after the sessions, do a bit of shopping, get some stuff for the wife and kid, right? You know how it works.
Outlet Mall in the north and the south.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it, and that's about all the time we have for today. So we talked community, we talked PHP.net, but also a bit of Vegas. Don't mind if we do. So thanks for checking us out, and see you next time.